if you'll notice, and if you can hear me, this stone looks a heck of a lot worse than when I first treated it today. And that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see all that algae and lichen and everything reacting with the solution. That lets me know it's getting to work, getting into the stone, and those stains are coming out to the surface and leaching off the stone. So while I go get my blower and trimmer and all my headstone cleaning supplies, I'm going to treat this lightly one more time. Then we're going to do a soft scrub on it, rinse it off extremely well so that we can then reset the bottom and the top. And then when it comes to a concrete foundation like this, the best thing we can do is give it a light scrub as well and wait for the D2 to do its work to clear up the stains on this, because those stains in concrete, they get real deep in there and it's almost impossible to scrub them out. So let's get this treated one more time and we'll get to work. I'm also not affiliated with Hard Tool Company, but I did break my trimmer last year and they were kind enough to send me a new one. So they're a great company. Their tools are great. I've got their impact driver and their regular drill and everything at home, so go check them out as well. Now whenever you start a headstone cleaning, if there's a lot of algae buildup that sticks up out of the stone, you can use a soft plastic scraper. So just get some of that big stuff off there. That way it doesn't clog up your brush when you start brushing it. I'm just using 2 fingers. You don't want any pressure really at all. Just take off the big chunks. You never know if someone 20 years ago may have used some type of chlorine or bleach to clean the headstone. And if you start really getting into it, trying to scrape this stuff off, you may chip or damage the stone. So this white scrub brush is basically the softest scrub brush I have. And it's really good for stones like this because you don't really have a chance of damaging anything. It's super soft. All I want to do is work up all that D2 and all that algae and get it mixed in together and get that penetration into the stone that we need for it to pull those stains out. What I like to do is just wet one section at a time. Just do real small circles with barely any pressure at all. And truth be told, it's just like washing a car. You should always start from the top. Every headstone cleaning you do, there is one rule. You have to bust at least one knuckle and get soap in your eye at least once as well. Always keep that stone wet. You don't want it to dry. Even with D2 biological solution, it's fine if it does. But what that does is it makes it harder for the soap to work its way in. You want to keep it active and sudsy. That way it continues to work. Unfortunately today, I do need to rinse it thoroughly because I need to dry the stone in order to put the setting compound back. But it'll still leave a lot of that solution on there. And of course I will treat it one more time before I leave. All right, now while I go get my setting compound ready and get everything good to go, I'm just gonna let this continue to soak. Then I'll suds it up again real good. We'll rinse it, dry it, and reset it so that it's stable and not gonna fall over in a thunderstorm or if an animal runs past. I don't know how many times I've reset headstones because of a deer running into the side of one. Alright, I've got some high hopes that this really put in some work today. It will definitely need more time, but let's see what it looks like after a good rinse. So as you can see, there's some dried up setting compound on here. It's really easy to just pop this stuff off. And thankfully on both pieces of the granite, we can see exactly where it was sitting before. So we can set the setting compound down directly instead of having the stone over the top and having to eyeball it and then cut a bunch of excess off. It's easier when you can see exactly where the stone needs to sit on the foundation and on the base. Just like the Boy Scouts, always leave a place better than you found it. Wherever that setting compound meets up with the next piece, always make sure it overlaps a good hair to make sure it's got a good coverage. If you butt them up against each other, it might spread out, but it might not spread against each other. Where it looks just a little thin, we'll just add a little bit more. You can always cut this off, put it back into your bucket. There's no reason not to use plenty. I'll admit, using a knife might seem a little bit aggressive, but most guys use a metal blade of some sort. This was just $1 at Dollar Tree, and I use it for edging stones, but it's perfect also for removing the excess setting compound. I just press down so I feel the concrete, but I'm not scratching it. At a perfect angle to leave just a little bit of excess. Make sure as it settles, the compound can move out ever so slightly. But it leaves one heck of a clean edge afterwards. And while I do consider myself a professional headstone cleaner, I don't consider myself a linguist. So if there's better terms for everything that I'm using that the monument guys out there can correct me on, I'd be happy to hear whatever I'm getting wrong. Just know that the repair itself is being done right. And like I said before, I'm not actually using this blade to cut into the stone. I just press down and lightly drag it, just enough to push through that clay-like setting compound. If I wanted to, I could just lay the blade down flat and push down. But for me, it's easier because I can go across the entire length of it, take it off in one clean swipe. I'm actually pleasantly surprised about how this one turned out today. I didn't think it was going to come quite as clean as it's already gotten. So normally I'd have to come back in a few weeks, treat it with D2 again, and then let the customer know that the cleaning job was complete. But on this one, I might take some after pictures and go ahead and send them over, and also let the family know that it will continue to clear up in the coming weeks. Headstone cleaning itself is a really satisfying job and hobby, but it's also really rewarding when you see the family's reactions. This stone might be a family member's from 200 years ago. Well, now that I can read the stone, this is actually a baby grave from 1904, a baby that lived 4 days. And if you're someone who's lost a child, I'm sure that hits pretty close to home. I know it does for me. But some people, they never visit their relatives in the cemeteries. Other people, they stop by daily. I know of a couple cemeteries where I've gotten to know people on a first name basis that come out every single day and talk to their loved ones, whether it be a lost wife, a lost child. And for some people, doing something like this means the absolute world to them. And for me to do it as a job almost doesn't feel right at times, which is probably one of the reasons I keep my prices as low as I do, because all it really costs me is a few dollars and some time. So I really love doing these. I love donating these, and I love the job itself, being able to clean these up, bring them back to life. It just makes you think about the history of what different people who have passed and are laid to rest in the cemeteries. You know, if you ever sit down with someone who's in their 90s and they're still with it, they've got stories. You could sit there all day long, and I wonder what all the people in these cemeteries, stories they have to tell. I always sit there and ponder what the person laid to rest in this cemetery, what the craziest thing they ever saw was, and I'm sure there were some pretty incredible stories. So I'm going to get everything cleaned up. We'll treat this one more time with D2 just to make sure that it's still cleaning up and continuing to clean once I'm gone today. We'll take some pictures of this one, run to Dollar General, grab some flowers for the headstone I cleaned on the other side of the cemetery, and we'll be done for the day.